so many people do illustrations here. I mean, you see it in the dealer's room, the artist alley, so many artists. And I mean, I always liked drawing, so I get into it, and I'm drawing some, doing some collaboration with my neighbor, who's crazy, but he's awesome. And I wound up making this. We were giggling about, what if we went and took an old Aesop fable and spun it around and did something different with it. You're all familiar with the classic Tortoise and the Hare story, where the hare gets, he gets real tired, or no, he doesn't get tired. He's like, I got this race won. I'm just going to take a nap. And the tortoise pitters on by, and he wins the race. And so then you get the old moral of don't be a big shot, big mouth, and don't slack off, keep going. And what was the real moral of that?
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, the Storal of the Mori.
Is still and steady wins the race.
If you go to Grand Festival, no. Don't be a pompous asshole. Jerk.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. Oh, that's it.
That's the classic one. Oh, this one turns into don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
It's more like, what is it more like?
Fat bunnies are awesome.
That too.
All right. Anyways, so you came up with this comic with your.
I came up with this comic, and I thought, all right, let's play around. Let's just screw around. What if instead of the hare like falling asleep, he gets too fat to race? Because you wouldn't think that at first. You'd be like, what? So I made this really stupid comic where the tortoise tricks him into eating a magic donut that makes him really fat. And
this is before she knew me. For anyone who knows me,
yes.
This is how
we met.
We met.
No, it's not that. It's actually very awesome. So, and it was just a stupid little comic, and I brushed it off. I'm like, I don't know. And then I started to feel for the characters. Like somehow along the line, I was like, well, what if the hare had a life? Like, how would she feel?
No, let's back up for a sec. First, you met some jerk on the internet who was like, I really like your comic, you should draw more. And you're like, yeah, whatever. You're an idiot.
I wasn't like that.
I know.
I was like, whatever, it's another fur fan card.
But then you got, Marilyn just kept getting more and more feedback about her comic, just because some of the expressions were fantastic. It was such a throwaway story, but you drew it so beautifully that, people just wanted to see more. So you started to draw a couple of doodles, and then.
Yeah, and I remember drawing a doodle of Bernadette, her first appearance, and she being upset with the hare for eating too much. And so then I started developing their kind of personalities, and then after all these little doodles that I've been doing, I was thinking, you know what? Maybe I should just write a story. Because it's just. I got so into the characters. I'm like, well, what if the tortoise was different? Like, you think of the tortoise in the original Tortoise and Hare story, where he is like this, he's the underdog, but he's like the hero in a sense. Well, what if the underdog is also a jealous asshole? I mean, let's cut to real life here. I mean, if you're losing every race to some big mouth jerk, and you have some guts behind you, I mean, come on.
You're going to do everything you can to win, so.
Right. So I started developing a character of the tortoise in a different sense. And I played around with a couple different styles. I mean, this is all just drawings, and I really didn't know where I was going with it until I got more and more feedback from people enjoying the story. And I think that's a really important thing with being on websites like DeviantArt and FurAffinity. Especially for artists, I think it's really great to have that artistic community because that's what really motivates and pushes you along. And I hear this from my sculpture teacher, who's big and famous in New York, and she talks about being in a community of artists. That's what empowers you to keep on going. Well, we have a nice thing called the internet now, which allows you to do that outside of New York City. So. And
a lot of people, think on FurAffinity on DeviantArt. I'm just going to post my finished pictures. That's all people want to see. I'm gonna work 40, 50, 60 hours on this one piece, and when it's done, when I think it's polished, I'm going to put it up there for everyone to see. And that's one way to approach it. I think you should post all of your sketches onto the website for feedback. The more sketches you post, the more feedback you get on your art, the better your art's going to be. That's one of the reasons why sites like that have a scrap section.